audition-wise, when I was like, especially being Canadian, I can audition for a lot of stuff up in Vancouver, and I would get the breakdown sent to me, and it was like, 2 out of the 8 roles are for female, and I'd be like, really? I'd be tracking shows I love, and I'm like, come on! And then they would just be tropey type of stereotypical characters. I was just more mentioning, like, in the indie world sci-fi that I've worked on, there's been more of a parody that I've seen both behind the camera and in front of the camera, so I'd like for that to be encouraged.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. For the other ladies, do you feel like there are an adequate amount of roles and types of characters for women to play, and roles for women off camera as well in sci-fi? Is this something that we can work on, something that we can move towards?
I think when we can stop having huge, have it be a huge deal that someone like Ava DuVernay is at the helm of a major motion, a huge budget motion picture at Disney, like that still made news. It's 2019, and that was still something of note that we had to publicize because it had never happened before. Until that is no longer a thing, then the answer would be no.
Yeah. It's getting better. I mean, we can't say that it's as bad as it was, but it is getting better. But at the same time, we still have so much further to go. It's like you said, we still have to refer to things as strong female lead. Why can't it just be lead or strong lead? Or we have to add in that adjective, like it's a female-driven something or other. And I feel like that shouldn't, we would never do that on the flip side, right?
One of the cool things about now is we all have phones or a recording device. So if you don't find the role that you want to play, you could make up your own story and you film it and you get it out there and you put it on your YouTube channel or you put it to wherever you can. Because I remember growing up, we didn't have all these devices left, right and center. Everyone has an iPhone, everyone has a Samsung. Get out there and make your own projects. If you're not happy with what you're watching on the television, make your own stuff, because we can now. It's amazing. Did you guys see there was, my guy showed me there was a school production of Alien.
Yeah!
That's what I'm saying. Now we all have access to each other, so it might just be some weird random dream or some weird random thought. Who cares? Just do it. Do it.
Yeah.
And then Sigourney Weaver might be.
Yeah, the digital age has really been wonderful for letting all different types of people share their creations with the world. It's no longer behind that Hollywood gate where you have to get in with the inner producer circle. That's not the case. And that's what I do. I produce digital content, so that's my world. And I completely agree that now that it's the indie scene and everyone can make their creation, there are many more voices being heard. Now, in the sci-fi projects that you ladies work on, do you see a lot of women off camera in lots of different positions, or does it still feel very male-dominated from the behind-the-camera standpoint?
I think, so I know Taryn and we work a lot in the indie film world, so I feel like, she's absolutely right. In the indie world, I think that there is a little bit more of a well-balanced, because you pick your team too, right? When you're making indies, you meet with your friends and you're like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Let's go make a movie. You got a camera? That's great. I got some mics. Let's go. So you can kind of pick and choose your friends, and if that's something, it's a priority for you to say, hey, I want to kind of band together and tell these female-driven stories, then you can do so. Whereas on, the Hollywood end of things, you're kind of at the beck and call of the studios. And the thing is, in those situations, the positions are already set. These are the way things have been. Not saying that they shouldn't be changed, but we haven't gotten there yet. So you're kind of limited in who you get to work with in that aspect, because you're usually the ones just being cast and brought on. But with the indie film world, I'm finding that there are a lot more women out there who are stepping up to be, DPs and sound and production designers and producers and directors, and that's great because I think historically we weren't given that opportunity, but in the indie world there are no rules. We give ourselves the opportunity, and so I think that pool of really, really talented women to be able to step into these shoes as they're stepped out of, I think it's growing.
And I think you have to make a choice. When I was looking to staff up my film, and I never directed anything before, or produced anything in a while, I reached out to, first I reached out to my big sci-fi YouTube director friends, males. being like, maybe they can direct it, it could be on their channel, and they love the script, and then I step back, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna make it. And I'm only gonna reach out to my female producer friends, who they're actor hybrid, director types, and be like, please refer me the female crews that you know. So I had to make that active choice, which was the smaller pool choice, but my DP was an amazingly talented woman, as was my first AC. My production designer was a woman, as was the assistant production designer. So I'm really proud of that. I want to do that even more. So I think you have to make that choice.
I think basically it makes sense that you're saying that in the independent world, we're seeing far more of an more open and close to being or closer to being on a level of equality as far as representation. But when it comes down to the fact that we're having issues over I can't believe Crazy Rich Asians is making all this money. It's a movie that has only Asians. Who would the fact that we're it's still kind of a noteworthy thing that different groups that are not immediately represented are garnering a lot of attention and making money, and people are interested in seeing them. Just goes to show to me in the mainstream what it's going to take is going to be a change in the people who are making the decisions, and what that comes down to, not the people making it. If you want to look out there's a lot of people making amazing things, and that's why you'll see more equal representation in independent production, because they're kind of putting together their own crews. But when it comes to major studios, the people who are bankrolling it, who are making the decisions, unless they change and make those changes, we will not be seeing that more in the mainstream as of yet. So, it's not just representation. We don't just want the token female or the token person of color or the token, we want participation, right? We don't just want them to sit there and be represented. We want them to participate. We want them to be an active member of what we're watching and engaging in, because that's what's happening in real life. So that's what I think is kind of, at least might be an explanation for why we're seeing more representation on the independent side, but not, it's still on the major motion picture side, it's still kind of an oddity when it happens.
Well said. Yeah. Do you ladies feel like the wider Me Too movement has had an impact on the sci-fi genre in particular, or is sci-fi kind of being this passionate nerd base a little bit excluded and outside of that? Everyone's allowed to say pass if you want to say pass.
I just feel like as if
Please say that again.
be strong and set your own boundaries, and it takes two to tango, if you, as I said before, there are lots of roles for women. You've just got to find them and be, and if you don't find them, then make your own story. I just feel like it's almost taken it to the other side now with the whole Me Too vibe. But I'm very cautious to say that. But even more of a reason to make your own projects and tell your own story and not be the victim, and not blame anything on anyone, and be brave enough to make your own production.
So in terms of encouraging people to get out there and make their own production, is there anything that you ladies would like to see change about the entertainment industry, specifically in the sci-fi genre, to make gender equality more of a common thing, to make this genre feel more inclusive?
Again, it would be the people actually creating the content and making the major decisions on the content. Not just assembling maybe, I'm going to try and hire a 50% female crew, which is amazing. Again, I feel like I'm not being very Star Trek right now. I'm not being very helpful about the future, and I want it to be, let's be hopeful. Things are changing. They are definitely progressing, but we still have a long way to go. And I'm going to respectfully disagree with you, Gigi, about the Me Too, because it's still something that it's more discouraging to say something than it is to step forward. And the turnaround that is given to people who do step forward, why would people be encouraged to do so? And honestly, it's so disheartening, and just heartbreaking. So, having said that, I feel like people in the decision-making positions, unless there is more of a willingness to kind of make it from the top, like not just from the bottom up, right, as far as participation and representation, but from the top down. That's when we're going to see the most immediate and strongest changes. So I'm going to have hope about it because there are shifts that are happening. And yeah, it's going in the right direction, right? It's going. It might not be going as fast as we want it to, but what does, kids?
I think one of the issues about, so like the whole Me Too movement is something that like we as women we've been complaining about this for years and decades, but it's finally just coming to light, and now there's a lot of people that are suddenly like, this was a problem before, but if you look at the root of it, it comes down to like, historically, society has always objectified women, right? Women have always been portrayed as these pretty little playthings in a lot of film genres. We're either the helpless girl or the princess that needs to be rescued, or we play these shallow, vapid, very two-dimensional characters that carry along, like just push forward the male's storyline. Even within the world of sci-fi, we do have to, own up and, realize that sci-fi has also played its part in, sexualizing women and making us wear these not practical outfits. And, just, it is what it is.
Red Sonja? I mean... You're going to go into